The Bible says, "Fill your hungry soul with what's good." When we eat, we share, we grow. Every meal is a chance to be fed and to feed someone else. Life is like cooking. When it works, it doesn't matter if the process is fancy or simple. Good food and a life well lived comes down to how much heart you put in. Welcome back to another episode of This Day. Today we're making not my mama's beef stew. I became a vegetarian when I was 20 years old, but I absolutely loved all of the old recipes that I had from my mom and again from my grandma and all of them. And so one of my goals over the last few years, well, since I've been a vegetarian, has been how do I take those really yummy comfort food things and make them vegetarian? But one of the things that people ask is, well, why are you a vegetarian? Of course, it's always the common stuff like, I care about animals and, I don't want to harm anything. But in recent years, it has really become very much more than just about animals. Environmental impacts and everything that goes with that. And just all of the diseases and yuck and stuff that you can get from, eating meat. It really matters to me that if I were going to eat meat, that I be the one to take the responsibility of killing that animal. When the thought occurred to me that somebody's job who is 8 hours a day is killing, I thought, wow, not only can't I do that to an animal, I really can't do that to another human being. So that is kind of my reasons, without really getting on a soapbox here. But when people ask me why I'm vegetarian, why I do all the things, those are the reasons. Those are the main reasons. You can have amazingly good food and still be a vegetarian. I present to you not my mama's beef stew, so let's get going with this recipe. The first thing that we want to do is cut up a couple of potatoes and carrots, and you want to make sure that the pieces are big enough so that they don't dissolve when it starts to cook down. The next thing that you want to do is add about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of cornstarch to the beefless tips. This is a Gardein product that I really love. It browns really well. And what the cornstarch is going to do is just help thicken the stew later on. Over a medium heat, you're going to want to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to a heavy-bottomed pot. Check out the description box for this full recipe. There's also a link to last week's show all about the bread. This is a wonderful meal, and it's one of my family's favorites, and I hope it becomes one of your favorites too. Give it a little stir, and what you're going to want to do is let this sweat a little bit. After we've waited about 5 to 7 minutes for it to get translucent, we're going to go ahead and add our cornstarch covered beefless tips to it. Let the meat brown a bit. The next thing that you want to do is add your not beef broth. And what I do is I dissolve all of the cubes in the first 2 cups of water. Then I add an additional 6 cups of water so that you have 8 cups of beef broth or not beef broth at the end. Now we get to the seasoning part. And so the first thing that we're going to add is a little bit of Kitchen Bouquet. And it just is going to give that nice rich brown color. We're also going to add some herbs de Provence and bay leaves, and that's really going to give it some good flavor. Then we add about 1/4 cup of red wine. Any red wine will do. Then we're going to add about 1/2 cup of barley. It just gives the texture to the stew, but it also helps to thicken it. Then we want to add the potatoes and the carrots, and you're going to try not to spill like I just did. This goes fantastic with the bread that we made last week, and we always serve it together. We want to go ahead and put the top on, and we're going to bring it to a boil, and that's going to take about 20 minutes. You're going to want to take the top off, and you're going to want to lower the temperature so that it's just at a very low simmer. Make sure that the vegetables are tender enough to eat, so if you can stick a fork through them, that's what you're looking for, and you know you're almost done. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.